The other day, Dina posted something on social media on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, can I butcher this and tear it apart? Tell you everything that
She
could
also
be
said, "Do you
improved?"
want me to do this publicly or privately?" And I said, "Publicly. Let's go."
Right. Here we go, guys. So Dina was advertising an event she has coming up, which if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, here's her little plug. Go check it out. It's in Love Shack Boutique. We all love Amy. And so this is the post, right? And so I am just going to go through it with you guys so you can understand how something like this could be made better. And if you're doing any of these things, then you can hear my little spiel as to why you should stop. So basically, what Dina did here is she's like, join us for this event. You are invited. Oh, look, there's a typo that I didn't catch earlier. You are invited to a special sip, shop, and create event. Unique opportunity to celebrate International Women's Day. Then she has the event highlights. Space is limited. She put the link and all these hashtags and the graphic. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull up my notes so that I don't forget anything. Okay, so I'm just going to go down in order based on what I shared with her. And if you guys have questions as I go through any of these, just let me know. So the first thing I encouraged her to do, and everybody should always do, is include geotags in your post, which is the location in your post. And that goes for both Instagram and Facebook. So in this case, Dina could tag Love Shack as the location. She could also tag San Antonio, downtown San Antonio, North San Antonio, Northwest San Antonio, Medical District San Antonio. Like the possibilities are endless. So I do encourage you to constantly geotag different parts of San Antonio. Rose, for you, since you have a brick and mortar, obviously you're probably already geotagging your location. Every once in a while, you'll just want to do San Antonio so you can capture people that are in other parts of the city. The other thing that I encouraged her to do is right here. Can you guys see when I put my hand on it? Do you see the hand on the graphic? No, you guys don't see it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
Slow
do?
it. Yeah. It's just, yeah, it's there.
Okay. So right here where it says location Love Shack Boutique in San Antonio, I encourage Dina, and you guys should always do this, is tag any business that you are mentioning because that gives you an even bigger reach and it gives them the opportunity to share it as well.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Is it, can I jump in with a question?
always.
Um, so are there like nuances between doing this on a desktop versus a mobile device? Because I recall when I like went back, like certain things, like I've got all that now. Like I'm looking at the post now, like the updates that I did change it, but I believe that when I was doing it originally on the desktop, like my laptop, I couldn't tag in the post. Do you know, does this sound familiar?
So Facebook's wonky. It's not that you
Yeah.
can't, it's that Facebook randomly decides that they don't want you to
Okay.
do it. So what I've learned is specifically on desktop, if you when you are tagging them, instead of writing out Love Shack Boutique, you actually put whatever the name is to their profile page. And so it takes a little bit of work. You have to go to Love
Okay.
Shack Boutique's page and see what her URL says. And then when you
Oh,
start typing it
interesting.
out like that, it'll work.
Okay. Or what I did was that I did it because I like to type it. I don't know. It's like I like to type it on the computer. Like I like to like
Yeah.
see it large and lay it out on the computer and then I edited it. Like I posted it, but then I went back and edited it from my phone and I was able to like do some of the tags that I couldn't do on the desktop. Just if
Yeah.
that makes
That's one
sense.
workaround. Yeah.
That's what I
You
did. Yeah.
you can do that. You can also save it as a draft and edit it on your end and then publish it. Because I
But it still
don't
wouldn't
know
tag it.
if, sorry?
It was the tagging, like it wouldn't tag.
Yeah. But if you save it as a draft and then you fix it on your phone, you're
Okay,
you're
yeah,
at least
yeah.
not
Then you're not
publishing it.
posting it, publishing it.
Mhm.
Yeah, weird. Okay, that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah. Um, the other tip that I had for Dina was in the entire post. She does say San Antonio, which yay, props for that. But there's a missed opportunity to use SATX at some point in the keywords. So when I think of people's behavior, sometimes people are looking up stuff to do in San Antonio and sometimes they're looking up SATX. So just think of the behavior of the people that would be searching that are your ideal customers, right? And so in this case, it's very specific to locally San Antonio and SATX that I encourage Dina to include that in there. So the other tip that I had for Dina is when we scroll down here, and I'm sure most of you guys know this, but the link, do not link on Facebook. Don't do it on Instagram because it doesn't work, and don't do it on Facebook because they actually, um, like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, it hurts. It hurts you to include a link. At the end of the day, Facebook doesn't want anybody leaving their platform. They want them to be in the platform. So if you need to include a link, which I do all the time, I put it in the first comment. So you just don't want to put it in the actual caption of the post. Another tip that I forgot to tell Dina this, but if you look at this link here, so it says eventbrite.com, SIP, create, vision board, da da da, tickets, all those numbers. You see that question mark right here? It says question mark UTM and then the rest of the text. That can be taken out. Anything after a question mark is what's known as a reference code, and it's basically how affiliates are tracked or traffic is tracked. And so you always want to take that out. In this case, it doesn't hurt you with Eventbrite, but if you were to put a link from Instagram, for example, and it had the reference code, the question mark, and then the rest, Instagram tracks that as potential spam. And so you always want to be careful never to use after the reference code, the question mark and the rest of it. Always take that out of any posts. Anytime you auto generate a link, it gives you that, whether it's Amazon, Instagram, Eventbrite, they all, because they want to track where traffic is coming from. But when you publish a link, you don't want to put that on there. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's that's great.
All right.
That's I had no idea
Um,
any of this.
I know. Well,
So I'm here.
that's
So
why when
I'm here.
we went through this, I was like, Dina, I need to use this as a teachable moment. So I love it. The other thing that I encourage Dina to do is up here at the top, join us for Sip and Create a Vision Board Experience. Always tag the event because that's an opportunity for people to click on it and hit interested or going. The minute that you hit interested or going, your people find out. Like it's so creepy. Everybody knows what I'm going to now because it says Lisa's interested in this. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about because it is really creepy. And so that also helps with getting more people to see it. So creepy for us, but wonderful for business. So always tag the event. Let me see. What else do I have here? And then, okay, so another thing that we talked about is the image.
I got a quick question.
Yes.
How do you tag the event?
It's the same as tagging a person. You start with the at and then start typing the name of the event.
Okay.
You have to be marked as interested to be able to tag an event. If you don't mark interested or going, you
Oh,
can't tag it.
And my other question is, will it pick up keywords from the event or does it have to start exactly like the vision board of 2025? You know, like
It's it's pretty much like the word for word.
we're okay.
Yeah, sometimes it'll randomly pick up because I'll forget what I named some of my events and I'll start typing in words and it'll pull it up, but not always. And that's another reason why putting other words in it are important, right? So like when I think of Jackie and I had this conversation. She's Bonita Market Company, and all her markets were just Somerset Market Days, Somerset Market Days. And I was like, you should need to put the date in there so that when you're tagging it, you know which one it is. Or when people are looking at it, they're not getting confused with past events versus future events. So Dina, for example, for years, it could just say February, maybe, for example, or at Love Shack. You could do anything with it, but just so that you have some kind of differentiator, especially when you have a long list of events, eventually, which is what you're going to be
where
doing.
at what part
In
at
the
that?
name of your event, like the actual event
Okay.
name. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because the celebrating International Women's Day isn't part of the event
Right.
name. Okay.
Yeah. So like for example, with Café y Conexión, ours is Café y Conexión Let's Connect, and then I'll put February
Mm,
so that
okay.
I don't get it mixed up and tag March's event or January's event.
Also, you said you have to be interested in order to tag it. You have to be interested. You have to click interested on your own event to tag your own event.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can't mark interested, but if you have multiple hosts, for example, so like when I have a
Yeah.
Café Conexión event, I can't tag it from Lisa Alfaro until I've gone and said that I'm going also.
Okay.
And like this is a
I,
shared event with um Love Shack as well. So like we both have access to the event page.
right. Yeah. Yeah. So she's able to tag the event because she's a host, but she had to have accepted the host and put interested or going. Then you can't tag it. Just a simple little thing that Facebook does. They don't make things easy sometimes. The things they want us to do, they don't always make easy. Okay, so another thing that a lot of people do not know is about the graphic. So it's not letting me scroll all the way down to the bottom of the graphic, but gosh, why isn't it letting me scroll? That's so weird. I guess I cut it off and I didn't realize. So on the graphic, one of the things that I encourage Dina to do is make sure that it fits the dimensions of Facebook, right? So you can either use Canva's Facebook graphic or you could do a square image. Either way is okay, but you want to make sure that it's like the length of it is in the correct places and all the dimensions are correct. The other tip that I have, this is an unpublished tip that you can take or leave, but it's just a good one. So when I used to place Facebook ads in 2013-ish, 2014, they had a really strict rule that you couldn't have more than 20% text in a graphic or it wouldn't get published. They've changed that rule, but I've noticed and I've talked to a lot of other people in social media that agree that if you use more than 20% text, you might not get the same reach as if you use less text. So even though I don't take my own advice all the time, sometimes honestly, I just don't have time to make a whole other graphic. But if you can implement the rule of 20% text, you want to use less than 20%. Does that make sense to everybody? So that would include the title, that would include her logo in this case, that pings as text in the algorithm. And then underneath Sip and Create, she has extra text also, like with the date and stuff. And so you want to be really strategic on what you're going to include and how the size is going to be in comparison to the full image. There's a lot of free tools on the internet. If you Google like Facebook 20% rule or whatever, you can actually put in a graphic and it'll tell you if you're within the 20%. Like that's how much of a big deal it used to be in the rules. The next thing I had was okay, I only have two more things. So always give people a call to action so that they have a reason to comment. So in this post, Dina gave the call to action to buy the ticket, but didn't give a call to action for people to comment or have any kind of engagement on this post, right? So get creative with ways that you want to get people to always comment and engage with your content. And then the last thing is my tip here is about hashtags. So for Facebook, you don't want to use more than 2 to 3 hashtags. Like the golden rule is generally 2 to 3. You never want to have, if you're a local specific event or business, you don't want to have any other hashtags that are not related to local because that's going to attract the wrong people. You can include those in your keywords and your caption, but not as hashtags, right? So we would take out International Women's Day, Vision Board Workshop, Sip and Create. All that needs to be gone. San Antonio events could be a good one. San Antonio TX could be a good one. You just want to check the numbers. So For Facebook, you want to make sure that you're using something that has less than 1 million posts. When you start typing the hashtag, it'll tell you the number that it has. So you always want to be strategic with the words you're using and the number that they have. And that's it on my end, guys. You guys have any other questions about anything I covered?
I went ahead and put the link in the chat for the updated version if you want to
Awesome.
look at
I immediately ran to Facebook and looked it up. I was like, let me see what changes she
it.
made.
I
Did
love
I
that.
cover it? Did I get it all?
Yeah, you did. It looks great. And I actually was gonna, and I'm glad you answered this, Lisa, because you had said the text, because I'm a person, I don't like to do a whole lot of reading on social media sometimes.
Mhm.
So I want to have all the basic information like location, time, and place on the graphic itself. And so I don't have to do the additional wording. Would you recommend still doing both?
Yes, because
Okay.
you want the keywords, right? So
Okay.
there's pieces you can leave out, like you don't have to put the full address, but you definitely want to think strategically of keywords. So if I'm thinking of somebody looking up like March events, you would want to make sure to have the word event and March in there, right? But you don't have to put March 13th, 2015, 2025. What? Yeah.